Hi, you guys. I hope you're having a good day so far. I'm just leaving you this video because, as you know, I'm out today. So there is no live class. Make sure you're not trying to join a live class. But I am going to go over the assignment you're going to be working on today while I'm gone, and I'll also read through the poem you're going to be looking at. Yesterday, I mentioned that you might be reading a few poems and taking notes. However, you should see at this point the assignment, which I'll share on my screen. So it's the most recent assignment posted. Oh, actually, it's not the most recent assignment posted. It kind of went back up because the due date is today, whereas some of these are later on. You're looking for this assignment, the unknown father, close reading passage and questions. So it's kind of in the middle of what's posted on our assignment page. It's the unknown father, close reading passage and questions. So this is what you need to be working on today while I'm out. So you still have to do it during your class time. I'm going to be logging back on this afternoon to make sure that it was completed and giving you your classwork credit. So it does need to be completed during our class time from 2 to 3 today. For this assignment, this is what we practiced a lot last week. You do not need to go into the book, the whole book, because I've posted the text you're going to need. So everything you need today will be on this assignment sheet. Do not worry about accessing the book, accessing any other assignments. Everything you need is right on this document. So this is going to be the poem analysis practice we've been doing, where you'll use the reading checklist, which is on this document, to go through the poem Unknown Father and annotate and comment. So we did this last week for the papaya tree, for TT Waves Goodbye, and for Mother's Day. So you should have, and you do have, 3 different model poems that you can go back to use to help you with this one if you were still struggling. So you're going to annotate and highlight the poem using the checklist and the color codes I gave for each one. So for instance, your first read where you look at the basics, the subject, actions, character, setting, narrator, that should all be highlighted in yellow. Don't forget, this is the one time where you don't necessarily need to add in a comment for everything. Specifically, the actions you can just highlight. However, I should see comments about the characters, the narrator, and the subject. So I recommend just going through the steps of the checklist and answering the questions as you annotate, like we did last week. Second read would be all in red, third read all in blue, fourth read in green, and then the final thing of putting it all together can just be a comment on your document somewhere. Below is the poem, which I will shortly read out loud. The poem is Unknown Father. It would be the next poem we'd be looking at in the book today. Tomorrow we'll pick up with some more reading. But again, today you're just reading this one poem and annotating using the checklist. So this should take a good chunk of time today because you need to go through each read and answer basically each question in the comment section. Don't forget to add in your comment, and let me open this. I'll remodel how to put in the comment. I'm looking for a very colorful and commented poem. Not that that's probably a real word, commented, but I'm looking for you to mark up this poem pretty well, like we did with the TT poem and the Mother's Day one. So I don't want to come back and see just 1 or 2 comments in the margins. Because you're doing the whole checklist from first read to fourth read, you should be able to add in quite a few, 10 or more at least comments on the side here. So for instance, I would get us started. I'm going to read the poem and then I'll do the first part, the subject with you. So Unknown Father. I'm going to read it out loud and then we'll do the subject part together just so you can see how to add in the comment and what I mean again for what I'm looking for. So Unknown Father. I don't know any more about Father than the small things Mother lets slip. He loves stewed eels, pate showed pastries, and of course his children. So much that he grew teary watching us sleep. He hated the afternoon sun, the color brown, and cold rice. Brother Quang remembers Father often said to yet suit the Vietnamese way to pronounce the French phrase tout de suite, meaning right away. Mother would laugh. when father followed her around the kitchen, repeating, "I'm starved for stewed eel, tuyetsu, tuyetsu." Sometimes I whisper tuyetsu to myself to pretend I know him. I would never say tuyetsu in front of mother. None of us would want to make her sadder than she already is. And the date of this poem is every day. So it's pretty sad poem actually. Because I want you to also keep in mind what we know about the father, what we know happened to him. He's no longer in the picture at the moment, though they are hopeful because we know, or we should recall, that 9 years ago he left, he stepped out to go on an errand and he never returned. He's been missing in action, the poem was called, for 9 years. So I want you to think about the most realistic event of what happened to him, and now we're learning more about him in this poem, which is why I've chosen it for you to annotate and analyze, is thinking about who he was before he went missing and how the family is dealing with it afterwards. So for instance, and this is where I'll remodel how to add in comments, the title of the poem, which I want to make sure people are always taking time to look at the title, because a lot of the time it does give us the subject of the poem. And in this case, it's pretty much does. So the subject, I would say, is the father. So I would highlight this title with my cursor, and then this toolbar pops up and you can press new comment. And this is where it appears now in the margin. So I would write subject, very simple, equals father. You could even say unknown father. Okay. The subject, the person that's being focused on, the subject of focus in this poem is the father. So again, if you need to highlight something, highlight with your cursor. And then this toolbar pops up and you can put new comment. Also at the top of your screen, if the toolbar doesn't pop up, you still have the option up here to press comments. And then you can press new and add your comment in that way. Just make sure you highlight first where you want to put it. So there are multiple ways to add in a comment. If you do need help, I will be available to message. I might not be able to respond right away, but you can message me on Remind and I can quickly, hopefully, give you some feedback if you're confused. But this is something we've been practicing. I have other YouTube videos posted. I have the model posted for you from TT, which I'll show you where. So please use your time wisely. You're going through all 4 reads. Just go in order and use the ideas here to help you. So next you would highlight the specific events or actions that are most important. Those you could just highlight without putting in a comment. Okay, but everything else does call for the annotation or the comment. So when I come back, oops, I meant to highlight this in yellow. When I come back and look at these, I should see pretty colorful poems with quite a few text boxes on the side, quite a few comments. Okay, so make sure you use my color codes and go step by step through the checklist. I would also like you to try out these questions at the bottom. They're very short. There's 3 questions here. If you don't finish them in class, you can just finish, if you could please finish them for homework, because the poem should be able to get done in class, but these questions here would be potentially for homework if you don't have enough time in class. But like I said, you have the full hour, 2 to 3 to work, and these questions are pretty straightforward once you've read through the poem. Okay. The last thing I want to show you is on Teams. At the top of our Teams page, there is a tab for files. If you're struggling with the annotation and maybe you weren't here last week, I have a model under here for the TT Waves Goodbye poem. So if you're struggling and want to see a quick model again of what I'm actually looking for, go to Files, go into the Inside Out and Back Again folder, and click on the TT Waves Goodbye. And here's what I would be looking for, like we did last week. A highlighted poem, step by step. We went through each part of the checklist and we added in comments and added in our highlights. Okay, so that's just to help you in case you might be stuck there. You have a few different resources, some of your own work that you've done, but I also have one posted here under Files for you in the Inside Out and Back Again folder. If you have extra time for some reason, which I imagine you probably won't with this work, you can also work on your vocab that's due on Friday. But again, as a reminder, you do need to be working from 2 to 3, and I will definitely be checking the poem this afternoon for the annotations and the highlights. And please feel free to reach out to me or my email. And other than that, I will miss you guys this afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will go over some of this together. Do the best you can. You're all more capable than you give yourselves credit for, and sometimes just get stuck starting. But just go for it. In worst case scenario, things aren't going well and we have to fix some things around. That's not a big deal at all. We'll go do some edits tomorrow. So try your best. Please turn it in by 3 o'clock this afternoon, unless you have the questions left to do. But like I said, I do want to click on around 3:30 and be able to see that you've attempted the classwork from today. And I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Stay warm with the snow coming, and I will see you tomorrow.